But now it's time to focus on the big game tomorrow night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup. The other quarter-finals as it stands, Arsenal against Sunderland tonight. Tomorrow night, I think you got Brentford at home to Chelsea. You got Liverpool at home to Leicester, and obviously Tottenham at home to West Ham as well. And before we get into the game, when you're looking at that quarter-final, right, you got to say Arsenal shoe-in to go through against Sunderland tonight. You got to say that. Tomorrow night, though, interesting matchups. Brentford at home to Chelsea,
who aren't going the best way at the moment, and maybe if Brentford are going to play a full team and Chelsea might rest players, that could definitely play into their hands.
And Liverpool at home to Leicester. Yeah, I know you probably assume that Liverpool are going to win that, but with Liverpool's problems in midfield,
they're going to have the same problems, I reckon. So
yeah, they're going to have the same issues. So there is a potential of a banana skin there.
Definitely. I completely agree. But as well, we got our own tough cup tie to contend with. So definitely looking at the other cup ties, there could be some surprises. You never know. I think definitely in that Brentford-Chelsea game, I'm thinking that game where Brentford at home, they can be strong, and they really took Chelsea to the sword last time they played, and they were very unlucky not to get anything out of that game. So with Chelsea not having a good time of it, I wouldn't be surprised if Brentford spring a surprise. But with us, it's going to be interesting to see what kind of lineup we play, isn't it? Because we play a very different lineup against Liverpool. It'd be interesting to see what kind of lineup Conte thinks will best combat West Ham. Well, I think West Ham are going to go full strength.
Yeah, so West Ham will go full strength.
I think we will as well.
Full strength for them. They've got Kurt Zuma, who's out. Ben Johnson, who's out, who's been playing quite a lot recently. Ryan Fredericks out. Soufal suspended. Aaron Cresswell most probably will be back, but he's a doubt. And Ogbonna, who's out as well. So defensive injuries, there's quite a lot there.
They have got defensive injuries, but they beat who's at Chelsea not so long ago with a lot of those injuries in place. So Soufal's going to be a big miss, I think, because if Cresswell's not playing, they don't have much cover at fullback. But I think they're still going to be a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, they constantly, you know how they like to raise their game against us.
Exactly.
It's their,
they've still got
a cup final and all that.
They've still got Diop and Craig Dawson. Dawson's still playing well for them. So they've got Rice, Souček. They've got all their forward players there as well. So it's going to be a very, very difficult game, and it's again be interesting to see. I don't know if Skip's going to come back in or if he's going to continue with that three.
Well, I think it was Dan Kilpatrick talking this morning saying Højbjerg's back on the training ground, and apparently Højbjerg might be back in the team.
So there you go.
Tomorrow night.
Don't know about back in the team, but back in the squad. But back available. So it's going to be interesting to see that. It's going to be very interesting to see what kind of lineup Conte decides, because he's got a few choices to make now.
A few choices. Winks has put himself in the question there now after that performance last against Liverpool. Obviously, Sessegnon and Reggie battling on for that left-back spot. I mean, it's going to make these predicted lineups now extremely hard to make with all these players coming and putting themselves in the question, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. So I'm very happy that he's giving him actual decisions to make, because before they were like making it easy for him.
Yeah.
But now they're making him think, maybe I should start Winks instead of Skip, or maybe Ndombele should start, or Dele, or Sessegnon even.
Lucas.
What's Lucas going to do? Is he going to put Lucas back in? Is he going to go with the three in the middle? Is he going to stick with that, or is he going to go with the three up front? West Ham are going to provide a different challenge to Liverpool. West Ham are going to be more resolute. They're going to be more thinking defensively first and attacking. They're going to be a bit deeper. They're not going to leave as much space. They're going to pack the penalty area unlike Liverpool. So it's going to be interesting to see what Conte thinks is going to be the solution to beating West Ham competitive, because Liverpool, the tactic was clear, exploiting that space Liverpool leave, because they love to attack and they don't change for anyone. But West Ham, they're so much more defensive, so it's not going to be as simple as play the same team and the same tactics and we'll win. It's not going to be that simple.
Well, what is going on with West Ham at the moment? Because in their last, let's say 7 or 8 Premier League games, they've only won 2 of them, and those 2 were against Liverpool and Chelsea. Against everyone else, they've been really lackluster, to be honest. In their last 3 games, including in all competitions, they haven't scored a goal. Antonio seems to be really off the boil at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean,
even against us when they beat us, I can't remember, it's been a while ago now.
Really bad game.
But they were bad.
Yeah.
Like as much as we were bad, they were bad as well.
Yeah.
Like they were just as bad.
And when I watched them against Arsenal last week,
they were terrible.
They were absolutely shocking.
They were terrible against Arsenal.
Shocking. And when you're looking at their run of games, I know they're not like give me games all of these, but after they beat Liverpool, they lost to Wolves 1-0, lost to Man City 2-1, drew with Brighton 1-1, who themselves are not on good form. Then they beat Chelsea, and on the back of that, they've drawn to Burnley 0-0 and lost to Arsenal 2-0.
Yeah, so they haven't been, and most of their games they haven't played that well. They've kind of lacked it. Maybe like, I kind of feel like, because I remember, I think it was just for the Brighton game. Who did they play just for Brighton?
Just before Brighton, they played Man City.
Man City. So they lost 2-1, and Rice comes out. I remember he comes in the interview and he goes, "Oh, against Man, we weren't at our best today. We know our standards, and if we want to get top 4, we need to put it right against Brighton on the Tuesday." I'm like, I think they might be getting ahead of themselves by saying top 4. Like they've never been in top 4 in their lives. Like they're thinking they're like. Obviously, it's fine to be ambitious and aim high, but they shouldn't be like saying, "Oh, we're going to be in the top 4 this season, and we're going to put it right on Tuesday against Brighton." It's like you should know where you are right now. They as much as they're playing well, like they're a squad which is still pretty thin, like in the forward line. If Antonio's not firing, there's not anyone really who comes in and replaces him. They're very reliant on like people like Declan Rice. If he gets a big injury, they're in trouble. Like I think they got to temper their expectations about how good they are, and if they think they're serious contenders for top 4, I think they have to consider themselves outsiders. You know what I mean?
That's for sure.
And I think maybe like. They might think they're better than they are at the moment, West Ham, and maybe they're getting a bit of reality check. I think they should look top. They have to aim for top 6. That's what they got to aim for. I think West Ham. That should be a good season for them.
So in terms of what Declan Rice was saying that night after the Man City game, I mean, what do you think he should be saying in that situation? I mean, obviously he should be saying we need to put it right in the next game because
I'm not saying that. No, I know they lost, but like. He was just like saying like we're going to be in the top 4, and if we want to get top 4, we like just like continually saying like put themselves in that conversation, and it's like when
it's not just them, I mean the whole of the Premier League, the fans, people talking about the top 4 race. I mean a lot of people are putting West Ham in that conversation.
Yeah, but they've got to know themselves not to get ahead of themselves. They need to prove it on the pitch before they can. Like they've never got top 4 in their lives. Like when was the last? They haven't got even barely close to top 4.
Well, it's funny you say that because someone just made a comment. I'm not sure how true it is, but it seems pretty true. I think it's Wolves5 says West Ham have been top 4 and 3rd in 85 to 86 season and 66 to 67 season.
Okay, well that doesn't mean anything.
I mean, that's the last few times that they've been in that conversation.
That's my point.
Yeah, I'm proving
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, at least with Spurs, when they've like these players know they've been in top 4 before, and I don't know if they're talking about top 4 or whatnot, but like they've been there and they've done it. They know what it takes. Like West Ham, like they have to show it on like under Pochettino in our. When we went in that first season, in that second season when we were going for the title, we weren't like, obviously we were talking about near the end of the season when we beat Stoke and Kane tweets out coming for you with a line, whatever. That's when we seemed to lose our way. But like no one was ever saying like, oh, we're going to get top 4. We're aiming for top 4. Like no one was talking. Like we were just proving it on the pitch week in week out by winning games, and that's what West Ham have to do. They're talking on the pitch instead of off the pitch. Yeah. And I think they're doing a lot of their talking off the pitch right now. I feel.
Yeah, I get that. And I think you're spot on, to be honest. And I think that. You're right. They should be concentrating on their football instead of trying to talk off their chances in the press conference.
They got a few big wins, and they think like, oh, look at us, we're so good, but they're failing in these other games, and these are games where you win it.
And when you look at the facts, right, if you win these big games, that's all well and great. But if you can't back it up afterwards with the win, it means nothing.
If you draw to Brighton and Burnley and beat West Ham, beat Liverpool and Chelsea, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
It means nothing. Might as well have lost to them two and won the other games.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, I just think that they were getting ahead of themselves by thinking what kind of challenge they're in. But they are a solid team. I'm not saying they're a bad team by any stretch. They're a good team, and they can beat big teams. They've shown on their day they can beat a big, can raise their game. But I just think consistency, and they're struggling. And I think they're also a team. The reason why they played well against Chelsea and Liverpool is because they went to dominate the game. They took the game to them, and West Ham were able to hit them on the counter-attack and from set pieces, which was their forte. When they're asked to break a team down, and they're asked to when the game is on them, like against Burnley pretty much just sat back and like, break us down, and they couldn't. They couldn't. They struggled badly, and I think that's where they are going to struggle, because they're not the most creative team when teams are sitting deep and asking questions of them, and that's what they got to combat, as much as Moyes has done a good job. And I think his tactics will get them probably top 6, but I don't think it's good enough to get them top 4.
I mean, having said all that, now, I mean, saying that, they did really well when teams kind of come at them, but not so well when teams kind of sit back. What's our way now? How do we play out this game? How's Conte going to look at this game and really combat West Ham? Yeah,
it's going to be interesting, because if we do sit back too much, we don't want to show them too much respect, because we got to believe that we're the better team, especially at home. We can't show them too much respect at home. So it's going to be interesting to see how he combats it. I'm really not sure if he's going to stick with the 3 in the middle, because it works so well against Liverpool, or is he going to revert back to the 2 in the middle, because that's how we've been playing. I'm undecided whether that 3 in the middle was a deliberate tactic for Liverpool, or if that's how he wants to go ahead in the future. Because we've always said that's the formation I want us to see, because I think that's where the most quality is in the team, in that formation. So
I mean, I
would like to think it was a formation we're going to go with ahead in the future, but it could have been a deliberate tactic just for Liverpool.
It could be, yeah. But what would you prefer to see from a personal point of view?
Yeah, I want to persevere with it. I want to go. Yeah, I like 3 in the middle.
I think I know it was a deliberate tactic for Liverpool, and it worked really well against them because they had a much depleted midfield and stuff. But even with Rice and Souček, if we can combat that with 3 in the middle, I think it really could work in our favour.
Yeah, especially we'll have the 3 centre-backs there. Maybe give license to, because they're not going to have Soufal and they're not going to have Cresswell, give more license to Emerson and Reguilon or Sessegnon on the fullback, because I think I wouldn't say they were restricted, but they were definitely told hang back a bit against Liverpool. I think that was clear. I think Emerson did get forward quite a bit, but he kind of picked his moments. He wasn't like, we're regular against Brentford every time. He's like forward. We weren't like that against Liverpool. And I think maybe give them more license to go forward and support the attack, but play the 2 up top with Kane and Son, because they can just be devastating.
Dynamite.
Draw West Ham in like we were doing, and maybe we can hit them. And I think that's what we got to continue. And I want to continue with more quality in the centre with Ndombele / Lo Celso, with Winks, potentially with Dele as well. I want to continue with that, because I think that's where the quality is. I really believe it. I think as much as Lucas is great, I think the quality, I'd rather try and fit Ndombele and Lo Celso in and try and fit Lucas in. That's how I feel with this team. And as much as Ndombele was taken off early and people were frustrated, I actually think there was a lot of potential in his performance on Sunday. Actually, I think that. And I think if we can get him right, this could unlock something that we don't even think is possible with this team, if Ndombele's played right. That's how I feel. I want to see him play again on Tuesday or Wednesday, tomorrow.
Fair enough. I mean, coming into it from a West Ham point of view, how do you think they'll be looking at the game, and how do you think they'll be looking to get the better over us?
Yeah, they're going to be not sure, I think, that which way we're going to play. They're probably going to set up, assuming we're going to play 3 in the middle, seeing as we did that against Liverpool. But I think they're not going to be sure that which way we're going to do it. So it's going to be difficult for them. Obviously, last time we played them, they must have had a whole tactical plan, whatever it was. We had Nuno in charge that day. We played 4 at the back. And I even think, to be honest, I know as much as we didn't win and we didn't play well, to be honest, but we still were better. I still think we were better than them, who were terrible. So I see them struggling in this game if we can get our tactics right. If we can get if we can really start actually create. Because I think defensively, like against us last time, all they had was get it to Antonio and have him hold the ball up. And when he did the times he did, that's when we were in trouble. But whenever the 80, 90% of the times that he couldn't, we had no problems against them except for the set piece. We really had no problems. So I think from their point of view, they're going to hope Antonio raised his game. They're going to have to hope.
And he always does against us.
Yeah.
He always does against us,
does.
Antonio.
They're going to have to hope that Rice and Souček can dominate the midfield battle big time. And they're going to have to rely a lot on set pieces. I think that's how they're looking. Because I think from their wingers' point of view, they got Ben Rama, they got Bowen. But with our three at the back and our wing backs as well there, it's going to be very difficult for them to find the space that they usually find, especially again, I know against Chelsea, Bowen was able to find, but I think against Spurs, might find it a bit more difficult, Bowen, to find that space in between Davis and either Reguilon or Sessegnon, which you found last time. It's going to be difficult for them. So I think it's going to be, I don't know. I don't know where they look at us and think, it must be in the midfield. Must be in midfield. They must think they can dominate us there.
So if we're going to look at the midfield, I mean, they're going to play Rice and Souček, right?
Yeah.
How in which, let's say we're going for a 3, right? Which 3 do you think is the best to combat that?
And I guess if they got 4 nows in the hole as well, because they like to play 4-2-3-1 unless they're going to change it. If they got 3 or 4 nows, Souček and Rice.
I got a feeling Skip
3
is definitely one that's going to start this one.
I don't know if he's ready. I don't know. I know he came on. I don't know if he's definitely going to start. I don't know. I don't know how fit all these players are. So it's a difficult one to say. I mean, we'll see in his press conference later today. Maybe he'll confirm if some players are ready or not. But I think that they actually worked quite well, that 3 against Liverpool. Not just from an offensive point of view, getting quick passes into, say, Kane and Son, but I actually think defensively they were quite disciplined and they were able to cover a lot of ground. And as we showed before with Stell, they were able to make a free and the overload on the wing to stop the wingers getting much draw in the wing backs. And we know that we don't have to concentrate as much on West Ham's wing backs as we did on Liverpool's. So that could give us even more freedom. So I'm thinking we need at least one of Dele or Ndombele in a 3 for sure. At least one. Probably, yeah. And I think Winks has to play.
Who would you?
So I think if Skip's coming out
over Ndombele and Ali,
probably trust Dele, because I think off the ball he's better than Ndombele. But Ndombele provides that killer pass that Dele didn't do. But then again, Dele provides the late runs that Ndombele doesn't do. So
maybe you need both of them.
I think actually Dele
and one to provide the through balls.
Yeah, but I think actually Dele might be a better shout, just because a late run is harder to track for us. If you're defending solidly, right, and you've got a very well drilled defense like Liverpool do, like West Ham do, I feel like you're more prepared to deal with a killer ball than you are to deal with an unchecked run. An unchecked run who's like Dele's run off Rice or Souček, they're not tracking him and he's going unmarked. That'll be harder for a defender who all of a sudden has to adjust his position and move and maybe leave space for another attacker, or Dele goes unmarked, which a lot of the time he did against Liverpool. So I think Dele might be, if Skip is going to come in, it'll probably be through Ndombele, I'm assuming, and keep Dele in there.
I'd like to see maybe Skip at the base.
There's also the Celso maybe could come in. But although he didn't play, obviously, against Liverpool.
There's a lot of options, but I just got a feeling that Skip most probably, I mean, this is pure speculation, but I've got a feeling that Skip, first of all, because he knows the London derbies and all that, being a Tottenham boy, so does Winks, to be fair, but he just provides that extra steel for us in the middle of the park that can combat Souček and Rice. And if I remember correctly, I think Skip had a really good game against West Ham last time out.
He did. He was one of our better players, yeah.
So I think I got a feeling it is going to be a midfield 3 of Skip, Winks, and Dele potentially. I think that could be the good 3 to.
Depends how. Yeah, it just depends how fit Skip is, I guess, because he obviously came on for 25 minutes, but yeah, it depends. I think you're probably. I think he probably will come in if he's ready. He'll come in. Because I think he was getting a bit frustrated with Ndombele with his silliness. But if he can just cut that out a bit in Ndombele and become more of a player you can rely on, he could become a real crucial member of the team, like really crucial in that 3. And we have that. I think with if you look at our squad and you think what formation best suits our squad. I just think the three in the middle does more.
Completely agree. I completely agree, and it's something that we've been saying pretty much from the start of the tenure as well. Because sometimes when we play that two in the middle, it's mainly been Skip and Højbjerg right so far, and it's just not been enough going forward for us in that kind of system. Skip and Højbjerg way too defensive, not enough creativity, and it's added that extra dimension having a Dele in there, having an Ndombele in there, and something like that.
I'm just hoping, even though obviously we did concede 2 goals against Liverpool and they weren't great from a defensive point of view. I'm hoping that he sees that performance against Liverpool and believes that we don't have to have Skip and Højbjerg together all the time to be defensively solid.
Yeah, but to be fair, we were coming up against a very depleted Liverpool midfield.
Yes, but we still had Mane, Salah and Jota to contend with, and Trent and Robertson, and that's where most of their danger always comes from anyway. But then obviously their midfield is great, and I think their midfield is more about destroying, and it's more about suffocating you, which we didn't have to deal with. Fair enough.
Do you think that game would have been a much different game if Fabinho, Henderson and Thiago were in there?
Yeah,
exactly.
I do.
So I think that them having that midfield, a completely depleted midfield, like a B-side midfield for them, played into our hands massively, and our midfield benefited from that.
Yeah, but you got to remember, judging from what team we've played, we also had a depleted team, technically.
Yeah, we did.
You could say, like, but Winks, Dele and Ndombele all good players. Yeah, fine, but we still, like, technically Lucas, Skip, Højbjerg, Reguilon, Romero, I know he's going to be missing for a while anyway. They all weren't playing. Yeah. So we also were technically depleted, and we just either had better tools to put in, or that you can argue we have better depth than Liverpool. Maybe you can argue. I don't know.
It's interesting.
So that's what I guess that's what people are arguing if they're saying Liverpool were depleted, because we had 3 starters in the outfield Lucas, Skip and Højbjerg, who've started every game pretty much since Conte's come in.
Reguilon, 4.
And Reguilon, 4. And Romero, 5. They had Van Dijk, Henderson, Fabinho and Thiago, so that's 4. So technically we had more starters out than them, but we had better players to come in. They had Morton. I can't say Morton's better than Winks, Dele or Ndombele. So technically they're weaker, but then you're kind of arguing we have better depth than Liverpool.
Yeah, maybe we do. I mean, I've said it all along that Liverpool don't have the greatest amount of depth in their squad. I mean, their starting 11 is absolutely brilliant, probably maybe even the best starting 11 in the league. But once it gets past that, it gets a bit hairy for them. And I think their depth in their squad has been a problem for a while. I mean, we saw it last season. The injuries started racking up. There's not many players that they could have brought in. So I think, maybe we do have better depth than Liverpool. But when we played the other formation with 4 at the back, it looked like we didn't, because in the 3 at the back system with maybe 3 in midfield or 2 in midfield, our squad looks a lot more beefier now than it did maybe under Nuno.
Definitely does. All the players coming in and performing, that's the most important thing. So Conte will be learning a lot from his players for sure. And I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm very excited to see what we can do. Like every game now, after that performance, if that's what we're capable of against the Liverpool side, you got to be excited. But I'm just aware that West Ham, different games provide different challenges, and West Ham's going to be a different challenge.
And let's not beat around the bush here about Liverpool, because they play weak sides in the Champions League. They played a weak side against Milan, right, and they completely battered.
I'm about to say, Milan needed to win that game.
Yeah, I've seen
they had to win to go through, right?
Liverpool sides can batter teams. You know what I mean?
They had to win to go through Milan that game. This is a Milan
top of the league.
Top of the league in Serie A. They had to, this is an important game for them. It's not like they rested players as well. This is an important game for Milan, who had to win. And Liverpool beat them 3-2 or something. Yeah. So this is not just because they played a weakened team does not mean they're weak. Yeah. They're just weaker, but they're not weak.
Agreed. So obviously this game goes straight to penalties. If it's a draw, very important to win this, because I really don't want to see this penalties tomorrow.
Fabianski, I've got a feeling, would be good at penalties.
Yeah, I mean, penalties will just send my nerves.
Galini might play tomorrow.
Not sure about Galini, because he wasn't even on the bench last game.
Was he?
No, Austin was on the bench.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, so Lois should definitely play then.
So I can't see Galini coming in. But Yeah, penalties would definitely be a very bad situation.
So on Wednesday, then we don't play till Sunday, so we can play a full strength team. Yeah, I think we will. We're going to go. I think also
we can play a full strength team. But what is our full strength team?
Yeah, good question. But I also think this game tomorrow, because we're out of the Conference League, for me personally, anyway, I don't know what other people feel about it, but for me, I think it's taken on a lot extra importance now. A lot extra importance. I think it's become a very big game in our season, actually. If we go out, I'll be really gutted tomorrow.
You know what? It's what I was saying at the beginning when I first came on. Like, if we can get this win tomorrow
and get into a semi-final,
we can get into this semi-final, right? It's not beyond all realms of possibility Chelsea and Liverpool can go out tomorrow night. It really isn't. Go straight to a draw, go straight to penalties, then it's anyone's game. A depleted Liverpool side, a Chelsea side who are bang out of form. I'm telling you, anything can happen tomorrow night. Anything.
And even if we do play Liverpool or Chelsea over 2 legs, like...
Well, it's looking like it's going to be 1 leg now.
Or if it's 1 leg, it's a bit different, then it's a bit more difficult. But over 2
1 leg, is it at Wembley?
Well, when it was last year, it was 1 leg, wasn't it? We played Brentford at home, didn't we?
Right.
So I don't know whether they'll do the same. They'll just make a draw, and if it's home or away, just like I think they should do it at a neutral ground, Villa Park or something. That's what they should do.
Wembley.
Or I mean, I don't like semi-finals at Wembley. I feel like it should be reserved for the final. But I think Conte has a great record in cup competitions, and especially how he's got us playing. And also, it would be in January, so potentially 1 or 2 new signings would be ready for us. And probably not, but if I forget signings, then. But if more time with the players, I think I don't think, especially how Chelsea are playing right now, we they shouldn't be fearing them. I don't think. Maybe fearing Liverpool a bit more, but like Chelsea, the way that we're both playing at the moment, I mean. We'll obviously be underdogs, but, you know, why can't we take them on?
I completely agree. What's your prediction tomorrow night? Score prediction?
I'm saying we're going through. I'm saying we're going through, and I'm saying we're going to go through. I think I've got a feeling West Ham might get a goal from a set piece, but I think we'll get a couple, so I'm going to go 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, I think West Ham are definitely going to come to play tomorrow night. They always do. Let's be honest. But I back the boys and I back Conte to turn this game into a win for sure. March on to the semi-finals. I'm going to go. Yeah, I think they're going to score from a set piece as well. But I'm going to go 3-1 Spurs tomorrow night.
3-1.
3-1 Spurs. I mean, we owe them a beating.
Definitely.
We really do owe them a beating. I mean,
do you think there's
a revenge job to do tomorrow night?
Definitely. Do you think there's an element of because we missed so many chances against Liverpool, it's like we have to put that right?
Have to put that right. We have to. And I think the boys, after the game against Liverpool, I know we were all very happy, you know, with the performance.
I think they were gutted
losing against Liverpool. I think they were gutted on after.
I can't remember. Obviously, I was at the ground, so I couldn't really see the players like, what do you call it? The demeanour, like of how they looked after the game. If they were like happy at the final whistle, or they were like.
I didn't see, but
it's easy to see on TV.
I think Harry Kane made a comment about it after the game, and I don't think
he said like, "Oh, we need to be winning these games and stuff," which is
positive, obviously. But you don't expect anything less from Harry Kane, do you?
Yeah.
With those kind of comments, but
yeah, but I just think this game.
I can't see the Spurs players with the way the game went being happy with that result after the game.
Yeah, I just hope that they realise the importance of this game. This is a massive game in our season. Like if we lose tomorrow, like that's another avenue for a trophy gone. And it puts a lot of thing on the FA Cup, a lot of importance on the FA Cup. Like I think we need to be really trying to win this competition because the Conference League is now gone. Like this competition has become a lot more important for me.
We need to be going all out for this competition and the FA Cup this season.
Yeah,
we need to be really trying our best in these 2 tournaments because if we can get a trophy this year and potentially have a top 4 fight and finish in the top 4. Be a great season. Something that
never done before.
First of all, never done before, and second of all, something that nobody thought we could do at the start of this season.
Yeah.
So it'll go past anyone's expectations, especially when we had Nuno in charge. That's for sure. And I think it's something we're highly capable of this season as well. I genuinely believe that. So let's see how it goes tomorrow night. Big game. Watch along will be Sim and Brains in the studio tomorrow night. I'll be at the game. Looking forward to get back in that stadium. Let's hope I can experience 50% of the atmosphere. That
Oh,
you
was it
experience
rocking?
on,
It was rocking on Sunday.
I was speaking to someone that was sitting in the North Stand, and they came back with no voice. Apparently, even in the North Stand, it was rocking.
It was brilliant.
So this is what we need to be going to every single week at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We need to be making it a cauldron for these away teams coming, because too often it's just been too nice for the other team to come over, dead stadium, dead team. You know what I mean? We need a team that are fighting like we saw on the weekend. Was it the weekend? Yeah, it was the weekend. And we need the fan base to make it a cauldron where no away fans want to come, no away team want to come. You know, like it was at White Hart Lane. No team or players liked coming to White Hart Lane because of the atmosphere. Maybe they liked coming because the team wasn't as good. But as the team, under Harry Redknapp, under Pochettino, we made it a fortress, that place.
Absolutely.
And that's what we need to do again at this new stadium.
Agreed. Completely agree.
But that is our match preview for the West Ham game. Both us going for wins.